She's testing you right now. And you don't even know it. Every question she asks. Every scenario she creates. Every emotional reaction she monitors. It's all a test. And most men fail without even realizing the game is being played. You think you're having a conversation. She knows she's conducting an evaluation. You think you're being honest. She sees you revealing weakness. You think you're showing you care. She interprets it as desperation. This isn't cruelty. This is nature. This is survival. This is the ancient dance of power that Machiavelli understood 500 years ago and that most modern men have completely forgotten. Welcome to the truth about female testing. And more importantly, Machiavelli's guide to passing every single one. Let's start with the foundation. The thing nobody wants to say out loud. Women test men because they have to. Not because they're manipulative. Not because they enjoy playing games. But because biologically, evolutionarily, historically, the cost of choosing wrong is catastrophic. A woman who chooses a weak man doesn't just lose. She risks everything. Her safety. Her resources. Her children's survival. For thousands of years, one bad choice could mean death. So nature built in a filter. An automatic, subconscious screening system that activates the moment she feels even slight attraction. That system is testing. And here's what Machiavelli understood that modern relationship advice completely misses. These tests aren't about being nice. They're not about communication. They're not about emotional availability. They're about power. Every test is a power check. She's asking one question in 1,000 different ways: can I control you? Or are you stronger than me? And the man who doesn't understand this will fail every single time, wondering why being a good guy gets him nowhere. So let's break down the tests. The real ones. The ones happening in your relationship right now. Test number 1, the emotional reaction test. She says something that should upset you. Something borderline disrespectful. Maybe she mentions an ex. Maybe she cancels plans last minute. Maybe she compares you to another man. Your instinct? Get upset. Defend yourself. Explain why that hurt you. Congratulations. You just failed. Because the test wasn't about the content. It was about your reaction. She doesn't actually care about her ex. She cares whether mentioning him makes you lose frame. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps." This is the trap. The emotional bait. And your job isn't to take it. The man who passes doesn't react. He smiles. He stays calm. He might even agree and amplify. She says, "My ex used to take me to nicer restaurants." The failed response, "Well, maybe you should go back to him then." Defensive. Reactive. Controlled. The passing response, "Sounds like a great guy. You should definitely call him." Said with a smirk. Amused. Unmoved. You just showed her something critical. You cannot be emotionally manipulated. You are not desperate for her approval. You are not threatened by ghosts. You passed. Test number 2, the compliance test. This is the simplest and most common. She makes a request. Something small. Something that seems reasonable. Can you pick me up? I know it's out of your way. Can you skip the gym tonight and come over? Can you not hang out with that friend? I don't like him. Here's what she's actually asking: will you sacrifice your frame to please me? Most men think saying yes makes them a good partner. It doesn't. It makes them controllable. Machiavelli said, "Men are so simple, and so subject to present necessities, that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. Don't be that someone. The man who passes these tests doesn't refuse out of spite. He refuses because his priorities are non-negotiable. I've got plans. We can meet up after. Gym is part of my routine. I'll come by later. He's my friend. You don't have to like him, but I'm keeping him. Notice the pattern? No apologizing. No over-explaining. No guilt. Just calm, centered refusal. And watch what happens. She doesn't get angry. She gets more attracted. Because you just proved you're not like the other men who melt at her first request. Test number 3, the jealousy test. She talks about another man. In detail. With a little too much enthusiasm. Or she posts something on social media clearly designed to make you react. Or she casually mentions a guy from work who's so funny. This is bait. Pure, calculated bait. And the average man bites immediately. He gets jealous. He gets insecure. He starts asking questions. Who is this guy? Why are you talking about him? Do you like him? Failed. Completely failed. Because you just revealed that you think she has power over you. That you're afraid of losing her. That other men are a threat. Machiavelli understood power dynamics better than anyone. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. But in relationships, it's better to be unbothered than reactive. The man who passes doesn't get jealous. He gets amused. She mentions another guy. You respond with, he sounds great. You two should hang out. Complete indifference. Not because you don't care about her. But because you know your value, and you're not competing with phantoms. This flips the script entirely. Now she's wondering if you're interested enough. The power just shifted. Test number 4, the drama test. This is the big one. The nuclear option. She creates a problem out of nothing. An argument over something trivial. Emotional chaos over a minor issue. You forgot to text back for 2 hours. She acts like you disappeared for 2 days. You made a small joke. She acts like you insulted her entire existence. You're confused. You're wondering what you did wrong. You're scrambling to fix it. And that's exactly the point. This test checks if you'll abandon your reality to validate hers. If you'll accept her emotional frame as truth. If you'll let chaos control you. Machiavelli said, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. She's not trying to win an argument. She's trying to see if drama gives her power over you. The man who fails gets sucked in. He defends. He argues. He tries to logic his way out. The man who passes does something radical. He refuses to engage. I can see you're upset. Let me know when you want to talk like adults. Or even simpler, I'm not doing this right now. Then he walks away. Not in anger. In calm refusal to participate in manufactured chaos. And here's the secret, the drama stops. Because drama only works if you feed it. Test number 5, the commitment test. She starts talking about the future. Marriage. Kids. Moving in together. But here's the twist, it's too early. Way too early. You've been dating 3 months and she's talking about baby names. This isn't love. This is a test. She's checking if you're desperate enough to lock in without her earning it. If you're so starved for female attention that you'll commit to anyone who shows interest. Machiavelli wrote, men ought either to be well treated or crushed, because they can avenge themselves of lighter injuries, of more serious ones they cannot. In modern terms, don't half commit. Either you're all in because she's earned it, or you're unavailable. The failed response, Yeah, totally. I can see us getting married. You just showed you have no standards. No filter. No self-respect. The passing response, let's focus on now. The future takes care of itself. Calm. Non-committal. Not because you're scared of commitment, but because you don't commit to potential. You commit to proven value. Test number 6, the availability test. She texts. You respond immediately. Every time. She calls. You pick up. No matter what you're doing. She wants to hang out. You drop everything. You think you're being attentive. You're actually being available. And availability kills attraction. Machiavelli understood scarcity. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. The demand of the times? Attention is the most valuable currency. And you're giving it away for free. The man who passes has a life. Projects. Goals. Friends. Hobbies. He doesn't respond immediately. Not out of game playing, but because he's genuinely busy. He doesn't always pick up. Because he's in the middle of something important. He doesn't drop everything. Because his life doesn't revolve around her. And paradoxically, this makes her want more of his time. Because scarcity creates value. Test number 7, the respect test. This is subtle. She disrespects you in front of others. A small comment. A joke at your expense. A dismissive tone in public. Most men let it slide. They don't want to cause a scene. They laugh it off. Big mistake. Because public disrespect is a test of boundaries. She's checking if you'll defend your dignity or sacrifice it for peace. Machiavelli said, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Everyone sees public disrespect. And everyone judges you by your response. The man who passes addresses it immediately. Not with anger. With firmness. Don't do that again. Simple. Direct. Non-negotiable. In private, he expands, disrespect me in public again and we're done. That's a boundary. No yelling. No arguing. Just a clear line. And she'll never cross it again. Because you just showed that your self-respect is non-negotiable. Test number 8, the financial test. She expects you to pay. Every time. For everything. Or she casually mentions expensive things she wants. Watches your reaction. Or she compares your financial situation to other men. This isn't about money. It's about whether you can be used. Machiavelli wrote, "He who builds his power on the people builds on mud." Building a relationship on your wallet is the same. Unstable. Transactional. Doomed. The man who passes is generous, but not a bank. He pays sometimes. She pays sometimes. It's balanced. He buys gifts when he wants to, not because she expects it. He never apologizes for his financial situation. And if she has a problem with that, she's not the one. Test number 9, the comparison test. She compares you to other men. Her father. Her ex. Some celebrity. Some fictional standard. My dad would never do that. Other guys would have gotten me flowers. A real man would. This is a dominance play. She's trying to make you feel inadequate so you'll overcompensate. The failed response, trying to prove you're better. Changing yourself to meet her standard. The passing response, I'm not your dad. I'm not other guys. I'm me. Take it or leave it. Machiavelli understood identity. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Judge yourself by your own standards, not hers. And if she can't accept that, she's judging you by the wrong metrics anyway. Test number 10, the ultimatum test. If you don't do this, we're done. Choose, me or your career. Either you commit now or I'm leaving. This is the power grab. The final boss of tests. She's trying to force your hand through fear of loss. And weak men fold. They give in. They choose her over themselves. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." You cannot command respect if you surrender to ultimatums. The man who passes calls the bluff. If that's how you feel, then leave. I'm not making decisions under threat. And here's the twist, she almost never leaves. Because the ultimatum was the test. And you just passed by refusing to be controlled by fear. Let's bring this all together. The Machiavellian framework for passing every test. 1. Understand the test isn't about the surface issue. It's about power. Always. 2. Never react emotionally. Emotion is weakness in power dynamics. 3. Maintain your frame. Your reality. Your boundaries. Non-negotiably. 4. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't apologize for being yourself. 5. Choose yourself first. Always. Not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. 6. Be willing to lose her. The moment you're not, she owns you. 7. Understand that passing tests increases attraction. Failing them kills it. Machiavelli's final wisdom on power: it is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage, but fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. In relationships, replace fear with respect. It's much safer to be respected than needed. Because need is manipulation. Respect is admiration. And the woman who respects you will never stop testing you, but she'll also never stop choosing you. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Tests never stop. They don't end when you get the girl. They don't end when you get married. They don't end after 20 years. Because testing is how she ensures you're still the man she chose. That you haven't gone soft. That you're still worth her loyalty. And the man who understands this doesn't resent the tests. He welcomes them. Because every test passed is proof of his value. Every boundary held is a demonstration of his strength. Every refusal to break frame is evidence that he cannot be controlled. This is the game. Not the game of manipulation. The game of nature. And Machiavelli understood it 5 centuries ago. The question is, do you? So next time she tests you, and she will, don't get angry. Don't get confused. Don't scramble to fix things. Recognize it for what it is. A power check. And pass it. Calmly. Firmly. Unapologetically. Because the man who passes tests doesn't just keep the girl. He keeps his dignity. His self-respect. His power. And in the end, that's worth more than any relationship. Remember, Machiavelli's wisdom isn't about being cruel. It's about being strategic. It's not about manipulating women. It's about not being manipulated. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding the game is already being played. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every interaction becomes clear. Every test becomes obvious. Every power dynamic becomes readable. And you stop being the man who wonders why he keeps losing. You become the man who knows how to win. Not by being perfect. But by being unmovable. Not by being what she wants. But by being who you are. Not by passing her tests through deception. But by being the kind of man who doesn't need to pretend. Because when you are genuinely strong, genuinely centered, genuinely unbothered by her approval, you don't try to pass tests. You just do. Automatically. Naturally. Effortlessly. And that's when everything changes. That's when she stops testing to see if you're strong enough. And starts testing to make sure you're still hers. The difference? The first comes from doubt. The second comes from desire. And desire is what you want. So go forth. Understand the tests. Pass them. Not for her. For you. Because a man who can't be controlled is a man who can't be broken. And a man who can't be broken is a man worth following. Machiavelli knew it. Nature knows it. And now you know it. The only question left is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep being the nice guy who finishes last? Or will you become the strong man who sets the standard? The choice, as always, is yours. Choose wisely.